This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't. But, you know, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally.
Special prosecutor, here we come, right?
It's unclear what he means by we cannot allow this to happen. If he means we cannot allow a person to escape prosecution because of her last name, he doesn't need a special prosecutor. He can direct his attorney general to have the Justice Department reopen the investigation of Mrs. Clinton if she hasn't been pardoned by Barack Obama.
Well, that's what you expect, isn't it?
Well, I would think that if Donald Trump wins, Mrs. Clinton will be pardoned by the president in one of his last acts because Donald Trump has threatened, quote, to put her in jail. On the other hand, if Donald Trump is talking about a special prosecutor to investigate the investigation, why didn't the FBI use the tools available to it? Why didn't the FBI gather this evidence and that evidence? No subpoenas, no search warrants, no grand jury. That is worth investigating. That way the FBI dropped the ball, assaults the rule of law, and a lot of people want to know what happened.
And nobody could be pardoned if you go after the investigation as opposed to the target. Okay.
Correct.
We received a lot of questions online, Mr. Trump, about the tape that was released on Friday. As you can imagine, you called what you said locker room banter. You described kissing women without consent, grabbing their genitals. That is sexual assault. You bragged that you have sexually assaulted women. Do you understand that?
No, I didn't say that at all. I don't think you understood what was said. This was locker room talk. I'm not proud of it. I apologize to my family. I apologize to the American people. Certainly I'm not proud of it. But this is locker room talk. You know, when we have a world where you have ISIS chopping off heads, where you have, and frankly, drowning people in steel cages, where you have, I'm very embarrassed by it. I hate it. But it's locker room talk, and it's one of those things. So, because of bad judgment, and I will tell you,
so Mr. Trump,
we should get on to much more.
Just for the record, though, are you saying that what you said on that bus 11 years ago, that you did not actually kiss women without consent or grope women without consent?
I have great respect for women. Nobody has more respect for women than I do.
So for the record, you're saying you never did that?
I said things that, frankly, you hear these things are said, and I was embarrassed by it. But I have tremendous respect for women.
Have you ever done those things?
Women have respect for me. And I will tell you, no, I have not.
Because if you think there's been fair coverage for this election, you're living on Mars. Is everything we always knew about Hillary Clinton is true? They used to think there was a vast right-wing conspiracy against them. That all of us were kind of making it up. But you know what these emails say? We were always right in the first place. When you destroy 33,000 emails under congressional subpoena, you get a straight to jail card. Right to jail.
Now, one of the things that I have learned about Hillary Clinton is that one of her heroes, her mentors, was Saul Alinsky. And her senior thesis was about Saul Alinsky. This was someone that she greatly admired and that affected all of her philosophies subsequently. Now, interestingly enough, let me tell you something about Saul Alinsky. He wrote a book called Rules for Radicals. On the dedication page, it acknowledges Lucifer, the original radical who gained his own kingdom. Now think about that. This is a nation where our founding document, the Declaration of Independence, talks about certain inalienable rights that come from our Creator. This is a nation where our Pledge of Allegiance says we are one nation under God. This is a nation. This is a nation where every coin in our pocket and every bill in our wallet says, "In God we trust." So are we willing to elect someone as president who has as their role model somebody who acknowledges Lucifer? Think about that.
Our movement is about replacing a failed and corrupt, and when I say corrupt, I'm talking about totally corrupt, political establishment with a new government controlled by you, the American people. There is nothing the political establishment will not do, no lie that they won't tell, to hold their prestige and power at your expense, and that's what's been happening. The Washington establishment and the financial and media corporations that fund it exist for only one reason: to protect and enrich itself. For those who control the levers of power in Washington and for the global special interest, they partner with these people that don't have your good in mind. Our campaign represents a true existential threat like they haven't seen before. This is not simply another four-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. The Clinton machine is at the center of this power structure. We've seen this firsthand in the WikiLeaks documents, in which Hillary Clinton meets in secret with international banks to plot the destruction of U.S. sovereignty in order to enrich these global financial powers, her special interest friends, and her donors. And likewise, the emails show that the Clinton machine is so closely and irrevocably tied to the media organizations that she is given the questions and answers in advance of her debate performance with Bernie Sanders. Hillary Clinton is also given approval and veto power over quotes written about her in the New York Times. And the emails show the reporters collaborate and conspire directly with the Clinton campaign on helping her win the election all over. With their control over our government at stake, with trillions of dollars on the line, the Clinton machine is determined to achieve the destruction of our campaign. Not going to happen. The most powerful weapon deployed by the Clintons is the corporate media, the press. Let's be clear on one thing. The corporate media in our country is no longer involved in journalism. They're a political special interest, no different than any lobbyist or other financial entity with a total political agenda, and the agenda is not for you, it's for themselves. And their agenda is to elect crooked Hillary Clinton at any cost, at any price, no matter how many lives they destroy. For them, it's a war. And for them, nothing at all is out of bounds. This is a struggle for the survival of our nation, believe me. And this will be our last chance to save it on November 8th. Remember that. This election will determine whether we're a free nation or whether we have only the illusion of democracy, but are in fact controlled by a small handful of global special interests rigging the system, and our system is rigged. This is reality. You know it, they know it, I know it, and pretty much the whole world knows it. The establishment and their media enablers wield control over this nation through means that are very well known. This is well documented, and the establishment that protects them has engaged in a massive cover-up of widespread criminal activity at the State Department and the Clinton Foundation in order to keep the Clintons in power. People who are capable of such crimes against our nation are capable of anything.
Far darker. Bill Clinton is a Bill Cosby-type sexual predator, and he has preyed on multiple women when he was running for Congress, when he was Attorney General of Arkansas, when he was governor of Arkansas, and when he was president of the United States. And rather than stopping this, and rather than just being an enabler, Hillary has been the point person in the cover-up of his sex crimes. Hillary has been the person who has terrorized, and let's use her word, bullied Bill Clinton's victims into silence, either to stop them from testifying in response to a subpoena or to stop them from going public.
What kind of tactics would they use that were okayed by Hillary?
Strong-arm tactics. Hillary is the person who hired the heavy-handed Los Angeles and Arkansas-based private detectives,
including Anthony
Pellicano, Jack Palladino, Ivan Duda, and these people use strong-arm tactics. Let's take the example of Kathleen Willey, Kathleen Willey was working in the White House as a volunteer in the social office. Kathleen Willey was very active in both of Bill Clinton's campaigns for president. She knew the president well. When her family ran into financial difficulties and she made an appointment with the president to ask for a paid job, what she got for her trouble was groped, assaulted in the Oval Office. But then when she received a subpoena in the Paula Jones controversy, the trouble really began. Her home was broken in and ransacked. Her car windshield was smashed. Her car tires were slashed with a nail gun. Her cat was murdered and left on her doorstep. Her children were threatened by name. A strange man dressed in black, Palladino, runs up to her and says, "Hey, how's your cat? You ever replace that cat? How are your kids? I saw him get out of school yesterday." Those are the kind of threats and strong-arm tactics that the Clintons are using.
Give me a number. How many women do you think have experienced sexual assault at the hands of Bill Clinton and then being shut down like this, like what happened to Kathleen
I could identify 24, but I think there are probably hundreds.
It's not coincidence that these attacks come at the exact same moment and all together at the same time as WikiLeaks releases documents exposing the massive international corruption of the Clinton machine, including 2,000 more emails just this morning. These people are horrible people. They're horrible, horrible liars. And interestingly, it happens to appear 26 days before our very important election. Isn't that amazing? These attacks are orchestrated by the Clintons and their media allies. The only thing Hillary Clinton has going for herself is the press. Without the press, she is absolutely zero. When I declared my candidacy, I knew what bad shape our country was in. I've seen firsthand the corruption and the sickness that has taken over our politics. You've seen it, and I've seen it, and we're all watching together. They knew they would throw every lie they could at me and my family and my loved ones. They knew they would stop at nothing to try to stop me. But I never knew, as bad as it would be, I never knew it would be this vile, that it would be this bad, that it would be this vicious. Their financial resources are virtually unlimited. Their political resources are unlimited. Their media resources are unmatched. And most importantly, the depths of their immorality is absolutely unlimited. The corrupt political establishment is a machine. It has no soul. I knew these false attacks would come. I knew this day would arrive. It's only a question of when. And I knew the American people would rise above it and vote for the future they deserve. The only thing that can stop this corrupt machine is you. The only force strong enough to save our country is us. The only people brave enough to vote out this corrupt establishment is you, the American people.
And Thomas Jefferson said that we would reach this point because we, the people, would not be paying attention, and it would allow the government to grow, to expand, and to metastasize, and to try to rule us. But he said, before we turn into something else, we, the people, would recognize what was going on, what we were about to lose, and we would rise up and we would take control of our nation. And I say now is the time for us to rise up and take America.
We are going to have a policy, America first. They control, incredibly, the Department of Justice. They even secretly meet with the Attorney General of the United States. In the back of her airplane, while on the runway, remember, he was there, he was going to play golf. Oh, gee, there's the Attorney General. Oh, let me go say hello. Planes on the runway. Let me go say hello to the Attorney General. Oh. And most likely, it was to discuss her reappointment in a Clinton administration as the Attorney General just prior to making a decision over whether or not to prosecute Hillary Clinton, okay? That's what happened. That's called real life, and that's pretty sad. Likewise, they have essentially corrupted the director of the FBI to the point at which stories are already saying that the great, and they are truly great, men and women who work for the FBI are embarrassed and ashamed of what he's done to one of our truly great institutions, the FBI itself. Hillary Clinton is guilty of all the things that Director Comey stated at his press conference and congressional hearings, and far more. He stated many things, but it's far more, and he knows that. This is our moment of reckoning as a society and as a civilization itself. I didn't need to do this, folks, believe me. Believe me.
Would you like to be the President of the United States?
I really don't believe I would, Ronna, but I would like to see somebody as the president who could do the job, and there are very capable people in this country.
Why wouldn't you dedicate yourself to public service?
Because I think it's a very mean life. I would love and I would dedicate my life to this country, but I see it as being a mean life, and I also see it as somebody with strong views and somebody with the kind of views that are maybe a little bit unpopular, which may be right, but may be unpopular, wouldn't necessarily have a chance of getting elected against somebody with no great brain but a big smile.
I built a great company, and I had a wonderful life. I could have enjoyed the fruits and benefit of years of successful business deals and businesses for myself and my family, instead of going through this absolute horror show of lies, deceptions, malicious attacks. Who would have thought? I'm doing it because this country has given me so much, and I feel so strongly that it's my turn to give back to the country that I love. Many of my friends and many political experts warned me that this campaign would be a journey to hell. Said that. But they're wrong. It will be a journey to heaven, because we will help so many people that are so desperately in need of help. In my former life, I was an insider as much as anybody else. And I knew what it's like, and I still know what it's like to be an insider. It's not bad. It's not bad. Now I'm being punished for leaving the special club and revealing to you the terrible things that are going on having to do with our country. Because I used to be part of the club, I'm the only one that can fix it. The corrupt establishment knows that we are a great threat to their criminal enterprise. They know that if we win, their power is gone, and it's returned to you, the people. Will be. What is going on is egregious, beyond any words. People that know the story, people that see the story, people that know the facts, they can't even believe it. It's reprehensible beyond description. It's totally corrupt. But I also know that it's not about me. It's about all of you, and it's about our country. I know that. I fully understand. That's why I got involved.
I wouldn't want to do it. I tell you what, I do not want to do it. I love what I'm doing now. I have a certain freedom. I don't think anyone does it any better than I've done it. I mean, I haven't been around that long. If you really look, it's 10 years, it's 12 years. It's not a long period of time in terms of what I've been able to build.
But you have this big total vision of the country, the United States of Trump. I mean,
okay.
Would you really like to take over and run the country as you have run your organization?
I would much prefer that somebody else do it. I just don't know if the somebody else is there. I don't know if we have the kind of advocate that you need. We need major surgery. This country needs major surgery.
Are you the surgeon?
I think I do a fantastic job, but I really would prefer not doing it.
Very rarely in history do people get the opportunity to vote for true, real, profound change. I would venture to say this is an opportunity that's not even just once in a lifetime opportunity. This is the kind of opportunity that only comes once in many hundreds of years. And it's important, it's crucially important that every morning we wake up, we're cognizant of just how historic and how rare this opportunity is. Because folks, it's not going to come again.